What's up everybody, Fortexfiend here, and welcome back again to another video on SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. So there's not a lot going on in the game right now, especially if you've been playing this game since day one, but I love making content for you guys, and I'm going to be doing another showcase of a free SSR development unit from one of the newer stories that we've gotten, and that's going to be none other than the Legend Gundam from the Gundam Seed Destiny. Before I go ahead and talk about that, you guys know the drill. If you enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you're not missing out on future uploads. Leave a like or dislike on this video and comment below if you've built up this particular mobile suit and what you think of it so far. Also, don't forget to check out the links to my Discord and my Twitch channel. All the links will be left in the video description as well as the pinned comments. So, we got Legend Gundam right here. This is going to be an SSR unit, from the development tree within Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. So this is another attacker type unit. So if you are lacking attacker type units, this is going to be one that you could consider building. And truth be told, a lot of these free development SSRs, players should definitely consider eventually, building them up, max limit breaking them, because as we've seen with the Eternal Road content, which is considered the end game content, they want you to use specific series or tags and things like that. So having a vast array of units available at your disposal, whether they're from the gacha or whether they're from the development, is definitely something to gun for. And I would say with these free units, max them out if you can. So this is going to be a free unit, and one of the things that stood out to me about this unit is that it has the one-shot killer tag. So for a lot of you that pulled during the very first gacha banner, limited gacha banner that came out, that featured Eternal and Lacus and Strike Freedom, if you got that warship still up to now is the best warship in the game, and it has the tag one-shot killer. So if you have that and you're looking for more one-shot killer units, this is going to be one to use. It also does have Seed Series, it also does have Alternative and Gundam, so you can kind of play around on which Eternal rows that you're going to be planning on using this particular unit with. In terms of its stats, I have this thing currently max limit broken and at level 90. I don't have it SP converted, but its attack is pretty respectable at above 9,300. And if you are willing to SP convert this unit, it does shoot past 11,400, which I think is pretty good for an attacker unit. Now, for a free unit, it's not the highest that we've seen. The highest right now, I believe, is the Impulse one from the event, because that we had previously, because that thing hits really hard, but it does have a caveat with its passive that drains more energy. But 11,400 for an SP converted attacking unit is not bad in my opinion. It also does have shield defend, which shield defend is always great to have. Damage mitigation on a non-defending unit is always awesome. And then it's from the Seed series, so Seed has a lot of love right now when it comes to this game. So that's another plus in terms of this unit. Now we're going to go back to its basic info. In terms of its actual weapon skills, I'm going to go ahead and switch to right here. So it is a very balanced and very, I would say, a unit that has something for every single situation. So its melee skill right over here is a 1-1, and it has a 45-60 power with no effect. That's actually not that bad, considering a very vanilla-like skill, if you want to call it that, for a melee skill. And then it also does have access to a long-range skill right over here, which the closer you are to an enemy, the greater the weapon power increase. So interesting design there for a weapon skill. It's supposed to be range. It wants you to be closer, but it does have this. So it has a melee, it does have a range, and finally its best skill is going to be Dragoon System, which is going to be of the Awaken. So this one has an effect which increases critical damage. It is higher than that when you get this to level 5, but it's solid. And I would say when it comes to critical damage, if you do happen to crit with this particular unit, it's good, because that way you're bypassing any type of mitigation or increased defenses or things like that. And then in terms of its abilities, it has increased attack, it has energy recovery at the start of every turn, so it has an energy regen, and it does have another form of mitigation, which is variable phase shift armor, which reduces incoming physical attacks by 30%. I think that's great, and combined with shield defend, if you're facing off against enemies that use physical attacks, this is fantastic. So all in all, I think Legend Gundam, one of the things that stands out to me is that it's very balanced and it's very versatile. It has good terrain capability, great movement, decent attack stat. HP is a little low in my opinion for an attacker type unit, and if you SP convert it, it has a pretty respectable attack of 11,400 or above that. So all in all, I think a lot of free-to-play players and even spenders like myself could definitely benefit from building this unit. And also remember, not only is it free, but it's part of the one-shot killer. And if you happen to have Eternal and Lacus, that's a plus in my book right there. And in terms of pilots that you want to consider using, we're going to switch screens here. So I have the Soul Shade page pulled up here. You guys should definitely bookmark this if you play this game. Very, very good website. So this is the list of the SSR attacker pilots that I've filtered out here. And the seed ones that we currently have are Rondo. And if we take a look at his stats, we can see right here that he's pretty balanced overall. So this could be a pilot that you could consider using that's free if you play through the Astray event on this particular unit. However, unfortunately, his final ability does not work with the Legend Gundam. But if you're looking for like a seed pilot that's free, this is one. If you're looking for a Gacha seed pilot, you could go with Edward. Edward's melee stat is like through the roof, especially because his main unit is Sword Calamity Gundam. His awakened stat is not the greatest, so the Dragoon ability or weapon skill that Legend Gundam has might not be hitting as hard, but this is a Gacha unit that you can consider. However, if you're looking for a free-to-play option, and this is from my perspective, I think the best free-to-play option is actually going to be Shalia Bull. You're not going to be taking advantage of Shalia's ability right over here, which requires a Xeon unit. However, if you take a look at his stats for a free attacker pilot, he's pretty balanced. Ranged and melee are the same. And then his best stat is Awaken, which Legend Gundam's best weapon skill is of the Awaken type of damage. So this is one particular free unit, which everybody should have him by now because we got him for free. This is a pilot that you could definitely use. Now, alternatives that you could use in terms of like SSR pilots, we got Guy, who's a support pilot, Seed. However, his awaken stat is not that high, but his range and melee are pretty decent. And if you're looking for like a supporter type pilot that's from the Gacha, that's from Seed, which actually has an ability that you could use with Legend Gundam. This is going to be Luna Maria. Luna Maria's stats are also pretty balanced. And if you're looking for another pilot from the Gacha that you could use, this is one that you could use with Legend Gundam. But all in all, I think this is a very, very well-balanced legendary unit that you could definitely consider building and adding to your arsenal. I think it's a great one to take for particular Eternal Roads and also for one-shot killer tag teams. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Legend Gundam, if you've been using it so far. I think it's a fantastic unit. I think it's, again, well-balanced, free, and definitely good to add to your arsenal. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.